The big idea: more than 50 million ballots were cast by Floridians in the 7 presidential elections from 1992 through 2016. If you add them all up, only 18,000 votes separate the Republicans from the Democrats. That is 0.04%. Republicans also see opportunities to make inroads with Puerto Ricans. They tend to identify as socially conservative, and while they vote for Democrats, they don't strongly identify with the party. The Libre Initiative, which is part of the Koch network, has spent millions trying to engage with the Puerto Rican community across Florida over the past few years. The effort tries to give Latinos tools for upward mobility, such as offering English classes in Orlando, Kissimmee, and Miami. The group is working to help new arrivals from Puerto Rico with training for job interviews, etc. The types of Puerto Ricans coming in this new wave are likely to look slightly different than the ones who came before. The average immigrant who has come in recent years tended to be younger, searching for jobs and opportunities. You're going to see a lot of frail people or elderly people with health needs who will be overrepresented in this flow, said Edwin Melendez, the director of the Center for Puerto Rican Studies at Hunter College in New York. The health infrastructure has crumbled. It will continue to be younger people searching for employment, but across the board it will also be more people who are dependent on government to survive. Melendez expects a lot of retirees to come to Florida who have heretofore been reluctant to leave their hometowns. People can't talk to their families right now, but the minute people can get through to their families, they're going to start buying them airplane tickets to get out of there, he said. It's chain migration. Florida is kind to the elderly. People have the same Social Security card, whether they're here or in Puerto Rico. More WAPO coverage of Maria. Why can't we get out of here? Airports in Puerto Rico, other islands, damaged and slow to recover. Daniel Cassidy and Joel Achenbach in San Juan, White House is restricting lawmakers from visiting Puerto Rico, U.S. Virgin Islands, aides say. Ed O'Keefe, all about the Jones Act, an obscure shipping law that some say is stalling Puerto Rico's recovery. Amber Phillips, September is the most energetic month for hurricanes ever recorded in the Atlantic. The Capital Weather Gang's Matthew Cappucci, the Energy 202, Trump's hiring freeze shrank National Weather Service staff before hurricanes hit. Dino Grandoni, vital Hurricane Hunter plane has failed 3 times in past 8 days and has no backup. Jason Samanow, the Daily 202 Live, I'm sitting down with OMB Director Mick Mulvaney next Wednesday, October 4th. We'll talk about the White House's tax plan, efforts to cut federal regulations and much more. The program starts at 10:30 a.m. at the Post's headquarters. Click here to RSVP. Welcome to the Daily 202, Power Post's morning briefing for decision makers. Sign up to receive the newsletter. While you were sleeping, Hugh Hefner died at the age of 91. Matt Schuettel writes of Hefner, as much as anyone, he turned the world on to sex. As the visionary editor who created Playboy magazine out of sheer will and his own fevered dreams, he introduced nudity and sexuality to the cultural mainstream of America and the world. For decades, the ageless Mr. Hefner embodied the Playboy lifestyle as the pajama-clad sybarite who worked from his bed, threw lavish parties and inhabited the Playboy mansion with an ever-changing bevy of well-toned young beauties. I'm living a grown-up version of a boy's dream, turning life into a celebration, he told Time magazine in 1967. It's all over too quickly. Life should be more than a vale of tears. Get smart fast: both the Taliban and ISIS claimed responsibility Wednesday for an hours-long string of rocket attacks targeting Kabul's international airport, which began just hours after Defense Secretary Jim Mattis arrived in the capital for a meeting with Afghan officials. Mattis was miles away when the blasts began, officials said, but 1 civilian was killed and at least 11 others were injured. Saeed Salahuddin: an overwhelming majority of Kurds have voted to secede from Iraq, approving by nearly 93% a non-binding referendum that has drawn intense opposition from the country's central government, as well as regional neighbors Turkey and Iran. Tamer El-Golbashi and Karim Fahim: the Trump administration plans to cap 2018 refugee admissions at 45,000, according to a State Department report. The figure represents the lowest cap since 1980. Matt Zapotosky and Carol Morello. The FBI is conducting about 1,000 investigations of suspected white supremacists or other types of domestic terrorism, FBI Director Christopher Wray told the Senate. Devlin Barrett. When Jared Kushner registered to vote in 2009 in the state of New York, he reportedly